All right, in this video, we're going to talk about how to deal with failure and how to overcome it. All right, so last week I put out a video about how to deal with depression, and a lot of people send me messages on Snapchat talking about, talking about what caused them to become depressed, and a lot of it was failure, or just not accomplishing what they wanted in life, or either it's one thing or just like the sum of their life. They just feel like they failed. And I want to say that's not uncommon, right? For example, look, a lot of you guys know that my whole life I wanted to be a professional musician. In fact, just recently I gave up, like I officially gave up on that journey, from changing my name from B Carter Music on Instagram to King Keto. But that's like the official, I've given up. But I gave up a long time ago. But not really. Let me explain. See, I started playing keyboard when I was a young kid, and I played guitar and drums, and since high school, and I also in college, I was rapping, and to the point where I was like so kind of well known for it. I opened up for like a lot of the major acts who were major rappers who were popular at the time. Ludacris, T.I., Fabulous, LL Cool J. He had a big record around that time in 2001, 2002. I'm old, and and Kanye West, like when he first came out, like the hype time when the College Dropout album, and I opened up for a lot of these guys, and I got I would do like shows and rap battles all around DC. I went to college in DC, Howard University, and in DC, Baltimore, Virginia, New York, Jersey, where there was a rap battle or a chance to perform within driving distance, I was there all through college. And then after college, immediately after college, I got signed to Sony Records. I got the attention of some of their the people in their A&R department there, and they liked what they heard. They liked the swag and the image, and they thought, we can make some money off this fella. And I was like, you're right. This is a good decision. And so, man, this is like a childhood dream, lifelong dream to be a professional musician in some capacity, right? But here's the thing. It wasn't just to be. My goal wasn't to be a musician, right? I thought it was at the time, but it was really to be successful, right? So keep that in mind. Okay, so I feel like I made it, man. I'm here. It's time to get to work, get the first album going out. I was going to produce it and everything. And then Sony merged with BMG. And everybody who was in charge of my project and getting me signed was fired, and I was released from the label. And it was like, damn. I would imagine it's like the equivalent of someone getting drafted to the NBA, and then they tear their ACL or something like that. It was awful. And then I tried to make it happen. I got signed to an independent label in Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta, and that label folded, and then I moved to New York, back to New York, to try to like just make it happen. I feel like when I was in New York, it was, that's where I needed to be to make it happen, and it just wasn't working. It wasn't where I was trying to independent route, more put out independent stuff. I did shows in New York, and I mean, I got good response, but never. I couldn't get a deal again, and putting it out myself just wasn't really working, right? And around the same time, my father like killed himself, right? So like, damn. So now it's like I got to take care of the family, man. Like it's got to be serious. I mean, I guess I felt like the music, I could drag it out and just go through it the long haul and not give up, quit, persevere, and maybe I'd have made it. But I was like, I need some now, man. My family is in trouble, and it's I'm in trouble, and I need to make something happen. And that's when I decided to start my own online fitness business. And it was a pivot. What I learned was that business takes a lot of creativity. So a lot of things I learned from being a musician for so long, how to structure music, music theory, how to write songs, how to write music, like I can actually like read music notes, like all that, and write it for other people. Those same creative muscles were applicable to business, right? You got to be able to come up with, I had to be able to come up with products. I had to be come up with to write the actual copy, the sales copy for the products, to come up with to design the website. I was designing my first website. It was a lot more creative than I anticipated, or that you think about when you think about business. You think about guys in suits, all like, at least at the time, and it didn't seem like a creative thing, but it certainly is. And what I realized is, being in the arts for so long, what seemed like a failure was actually like training for what I'm doing now. It's like what I do now, I have to come up with products. We have our whole supplement line. I have to come up with the ad campaigns. I make the Facebook ads. I had to make over 1,000 videos here on YouTube, and even more if you count the ones on Facebook and Instagram, and write the captions. This is all creativity, but I wouldn't be so good at it had I not been training for like 20 years in the arts, right? And I say that to say this. Well, it's two things. One, when you fail, it doesn't matter, right? It matters, like it may matter to you and your circumstances, but in the long run, it doesn't matter, because you've learned something from that experience. I'm confident whatever it is that you failed at, whether it's a relationship, business, school, whatever it is, whatever context your failure resides in, that experience is something you've learned. I mean, you've learned from that, right? So the next thing you do, even if it's not the same thing, you will be able to have reference experience, and you'll be like, oh, this looks like that, and I can make a pivot. Like I know what that looks like. I hope this is making sense. I firmly believe that life is not success. Like when you see successful people, they're not going around succeeding. What they're doing is they're failing, they're getting back up and learning how not to fail. I hope that makes sense. They're learning how not to fail by failing. The only way you learn how not to fail is by failing. And you can, somebody's thinking of typing right now, but you can learn from other people's mistakes by studying. This is true. I mean, you'll definitely have a leg up, and it'll expedite your learning curve, and it'll make things easier. I do a lot of reading, a lot of studying, and even I hire coaches for certain things, and I suggest you do the same. But no matter how many books you read about swimming, you still have to get in the water if you're gonna swim laps. You understand what I'm saying? Like you still gotta get the reps. And the first time you swim, you flailed around in the water, and you look like you were about to die. But then you got the hang of it, and the better you get, the better you get. Like that's when you see somebody who's really good at something. You see that's someone who was really bad at something initially. And these skills, they translate. I'm telling you, they translate. It's something you won't know until you experience it. Like they translate. So even if you did fail, it's okay, because everybody fails. You got to think about like a kid trying to learn how to walk. What happens? You see people walking around. He's, oh, that's what I got to do. He tries to walk, and maybe he has, some parents around him. Maybe let's take you for example. Odds are you can walk. You had your mother or your father or your guardian guiding you, teaching you how to walk, showing you, encouraging you, right? And the first time you did it, and you fell down hundreds of times. For months, you fell down. But then what happened? Over time, you were able to finally stand on your own. Then you took a step, and then you fell every time you took a step for months. Then you were able, but you learned, and you had people guiding you, helping you, coaching you along the way. And these people weren't just anybody. These people were experts, right? They were expert walkers. They've been walking for 20, 30 years. They're good at it. And you finally learn to put one foot in front of the other, right? Then you learn to put another, and then you probably fail after a few steps. And that went on for months. This is like months of you failing over and over and over again. But what happened? You stuck with it. You stuck with it. You learned how not, you weren't learning how to walk though. You were learning how not to fall. And you were learning how not to fall by failing. Are you getting this? Are you getting this? You were learning how to keep your balance. Really how, and that's how not to fall. But you have to fall to learn that. Now you assholes, the moment you fail once, you quit. But when you were a fucking baby, you failed for months, hundreds of times, and you kept going. What the fuck happened to you, bro? What the fuck happened to you? Why? You used to be tough, you used to be resilient, you used to have great determination. I'll tell you what happened. There's a few things happening. One, it was something you wanted real bad. Like you wanted to walk. But you had people around you who wouldn't let you quit. That more importantly, that's the most important thing. You had people around you who supported you, who had your back, who were there to help you. Like coaches, mentors, right? And they were good at it. They knew what they're doing. They weren't just talking about it or pretending to do it. They've done it. You could see that they do it all the time. And they were showing you the right ways. You know? You don't have that now. When you're an adult now, you have or you're a young man or young woman, you set these goals and you quit, and everybody says, hey, why don't you give up on that shit? Why don't you just cut that shit out? What's the matter with you, fool? What's wrong with you, man? Why don't you just do it like everyone else and get rid of, you don't have that same encouragement. You don't have that same guidance. Your goals are probably now things that a lot of people around you don't do. Right? Before, everybody was walking, so they could help you with that. They believed you could do it, but now they don't believe, man. They don't believe in you. So you got people around you doubting you, discouraging you. So when you bump into a failure, of course you quit. Of course you quit. You don't have that same support system you had in the past when you were a baby trying to learn to walk. You need that now. You gotta get that. Michael Jordan. Most people agree he's the greatest basketball player of all time. He had amazing talent, amazing abilities, gifted. And he worked hard, but he still couldn't win the championship. He kept getting beat by the Detroit Pistons. And back in those days, one of the reasons he was getting beat is because you could foul a lot more in basketball. You can play a lot rougher back then in the 90s. Now they have a lot of rules. They changed the rules a little bit to make it more offensive friendly. But on defense, man, you could hack people. You can arm hand check people. You can do all types of stuff. There was no 3 seconds rule. All types of crap. And it was rough, man. And the Pistons kept beating them because they mastered that style of play. They were called the bad boy Pistons, man, because they would multiple players would foul out every game. They were like technical fouls all the time. They were bad news. And Jordan kept getting beat by them every year. So he hired a coach. I mean, he had the coaching staff from the Bulls, but he hired an additional coach, a dude named Tim Grover, right? He hired Tim to train him to be tougher, stronger, Jordan didn't give up. He said, you know what? I can't do this on my own. I need a coach. I need a trainer. I need a mentor. So Tim started training him, helping him get more tough, more resilient. He put on some muscle, put on some strength, size. Then he was like, all right, let's do it. He went up against the Pistons, and he was able to handle that rough play and win. Then he went on to win this championship. Now this is Michael Jordan, one of the most gifted athletes of all time. Elite genetics, work ethic, and skill. And he needed a coach. What the fuck makes you think you're gonna make it without a coach? You understand what I'm saying? If you don't have a coach, I believe you're not serious. You're not serious about success. You're dabbling, and that's okay. But just don't get depressed about it, right? Because you were just dabbling. Like, if it's not a big deal to you, then that's okay to dabble. But if it's something you're serious about and you're not dabbling, then you want to get some help in that regard. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of you might be thinking, yo, Brandon, but you gave up on music. What the fuck are you talking about? That brings me to my next point. I don't want you to be married to the method or the tactic you're using to accomplish the goal. I want you to be married to the goal. Remember, initially I said my real goal was to be successful. To have the freedom, the time, the money, the fame. That was something I was interested in. And music was the vehicle to get to that destination. I didn't give up on the destination. I didn't give up on the goal. I gave up on the vehicle. I changed vehicles. And you guys got to be willing to that, to change your tactics as many times as it takes to get to your goal. See, if you keep doing, like I said before, you keep doing what doesn't work, that's the definition of insanity, right? That's insanity. And not the Sean T insanity. I mean, that's crazy. It's craziness. You gotta be willing to change your approach as many times as it takes to accomplish your goals. So I changed my approach. I said, you know what, music is not gonna get me where I need to be, at least not in enough time. Right? Because now the clock is ticking. It's crunch time. My father just killed himself. My mother needs money. My family needs taken care of. I need help. Ain't nobody coming to save me. So I changed tactics. I decided that I was gonna start my own online fitness business because I had been working as a trainer as well. Like that was what I was doing to make ends meet while I was trying to get the music going. And then I said, okay, let me just go all in on music. And that's another thing. That's another thing you guys gotta do. You guys gotta go all in. A lot of times you guys are failing because you're dabbling. You're dabbling too much. Like we said before, you're just let me tell this and just fucking around. Yeah, I'm just fucking around with this a little bit, and then no wonder you fail. You gotta go all in. Especially because competition is steep out here, man. People are out here trying to win. And if you're not out here seriously trying to win, if you're half-assing it, pussyfooting, you can expect failure. I'd rather you do nothing than half-assing and pussyfoot your way to your goal. You're not gonna stroll to your goal. It's gonna take hard work. So I was kind of like, fucking around fitness, kind of going hard with music, but not enough, right? So I said, fuck it, let me go all in on fitness. Let me try this route. So I changed my approach. At first, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was trying to figure it out, trying to make a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know, and nothing was really working. It wasn't until I really got serious and I didn't have the money to hire any coaches, personal, like I do now. Now I have coaches, right? In certain things that I'm serious, in everything I'm serious about. But I didn't have that, so I read feverishly. Because you know I'm a speed reader, right? So I took a speed reading course earlier, so I can just digest as much knowledge as possible. Okay, and I read hundreds of books on internet marketing, but I also took courses. I went to seminars. They cost a lot of money. Like I kept investing in my education, right? That was the equivalent of having mentors or having coaches. That's the best I could do with what I had. And that's when things started to change. That's when things started to take off. You understand what I'm saying? That's when things started to work. I mean, it still took a lot of hard work. It wasn't easy. And I'm not trying to paint that picture. You still have to put in the work, but when you have the guidance, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. Right? Somebody taught you how to drive a car. You didn't just hop behind the wheel, set the key in the ignition, and put the pedal to the metal. Nah, now you had someone showing you how the automobile moves, right? Because it makes sense, right? It makes sense, you know. And so that's what I did. I tried to just get as much of that, as much coaching, as much mentorship as I could get, you know. And fast forward now, we have a multi-million-dollar supplement company. You know, online fitness business, meal plans, workout plans, courses. I'm able to do that for me myself, but also other people, right? Like you know, Connor Murphy. He's, you know, pretty popular on YouTube, man. But he wanted to start his own online business, and clothing line was the first thing he wanted to start. And so, he's smart, right? You know, so he said, hey, he got me to coach him on how to do it. And we kind of partnered together on his Adonis line, $30,000 in the first 24 hours, right? And his first product launch, the Fuckable Physique, now it's called the Adonis Method. It did over $100,000 in the first week, like close to $200,000 the first week. Those of you who follow me on Snapchat, you saw I put the screenshot up, man. You know, we went hard. And now he wouldn't have been able to do that at first because he didn't know everything like that I know after a decade of doing this, you know, almost a decade of doing it. But I shortened his learning curve, and he still made mistakes, you know, but that's cool. Like I helped him navigate that, you know what I'm saying? And his next one's gonna do even better, right? And it's not even, but he had a bigger following, so it was easy. We've also been able to do that with You know, like take Deja Carreras. You know, she's someone, she started with nothing, no Instagram, no YouTube, and I coached her on how to build her YouTube following. A lot of people say, "Oh, she's just a YouTube follower because of you." I'm like, no, most of her YouTube followers are women because we structured it. That was part of the plan. Most of my YouTube followers are men. I mean, read the fucking comments. You know, how many women you're gonna see, right? Like right now, read the comments. How many women are there, right? Mostly, you go to her page, it's mostly women, right? We did that, targeted women, and I taught her how to build her page up organically, right? And now she has over 100,000 followers, and I showed her how to put courses together, and she made a lot of mistakes at first, but you know, I helped her course correct and get there fast. Now she makes $5,000 to $6,000 a month, you know, from her own online business. That's not counting YouTube revenue. That's just like selling courses and workout plans. And you know what I'm saying? She's been able to, she was able to pay all her debt. She was able to move to New York and get her own apartment, right? And she's young, she's in her early 20s, you know, so. But she had a coach, right? When she was doing before, it wasn't working. She was trying to do it, some other stuff on her, and maybe I'll try makeup shit. Maybe I'll try that. No. She first makeup didn't work, then she tried to be a hair vlogger. That didn't work. But then she found fitness, and that was the niche that worked, you know? So to recap, guys, the failure is okay because it's gonna give you reference experience that it's going to be useful along the way. Success is not just succeeding through life. It's a series of failures. Life is like a video game. All right. I know a lot of you guys play video games and shit. You know, let's say, I don't know, video games. Let's say you're on the first level of some shoot 'em up game, Call of fucking Warfare or whatever, and you get to the first, you get out there and you see the fucking alien and you try to shoot him and he shoots you and you die, right? Then you get another start over, whatever it's called, you know, and now you know, hey, if I do this, I'm gonna die, right? And then so you do something different, and then you kill the alien, then you move on to the next part of the level and you die somewhere else, right? You go around the corner, it's a goddamn Russian Marine, and he kills you. All right, now I know when I go around this corner, there's a Russian Marine I gotta kill. Bam, I got him. I don't play video games, I don't know if you can tell, right? But I'm trying to speak your motherfucking language, so just bear with me, all right? And you do that, you die a bunch of times, and then you complete the level, but it didn't happen, right? Like you didn't just complete the level. No, you learned how not to die at the level. Then you were able to complete it. But you learned how not to die by dying. Then you went to the next level just so you can do the same thing over again. And it's like that at every level. So even now, like where we're at our business, you know, we're trying to go from 7 figures to 8 figures, and we're making a lot of mistakes. And that's okay because we're learning from it. We're going, you know, that's light. So you actually have to embrace the failure. It's going to happen. Just know this is learning experience and reference experience, right? I imagine a motherfucker who's good at Halo is also going to be good at Call of fucking Duty Warfare. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I'm sure some of those skill sets translate. You know what I'm saying? So even if you fail, it's okay because you're learning. And you have to fail to learn. You know what I'm saying? So that's number one. Number two, get a coach. If you're serious about accomplishing your goals, you need a coach, someone who can show you the path and you can get there a lot faster. I remember when I started playing guitar, I tried to learn myself, and it was okay. In the first 2 years, I made progress. But once I got hired a guitar teacher, it's like I made more progress the first 2 months than I did the whole first 2 years, and I felt stupid. I was like, damn, man, why was I wasting this time? Why didn't I just get there faster? It was like a GPS. It was like the GPS. Like when you want to go drive somewhere, you don't just start fucking driving down random roads trying to figure out. No, you just put it in GPS and you get there, right? That's what it's like to have a coach. It's like GPS. Hey, I know a lot of you guys want to start your own online fitness business. A lot of you guys want to learn how to start online fitness business like Deja, Connor, like me. In fact, I have a free video series on how you can do that. Go to fitcoachu.com. It's only going to be open for a few days, and we'll shut this free series down, so you should do it right now. Do it today, but get a coach. That if you want to start an online fitness business, that will set you down a path to getting coaching on how to do that. You know what I'm saying? And the first part of the video series, the video series is actually free. So go there now. All right. But anyway, so be okay with failure. get a coach, and be willing to switch. Be willing to change tactics, not the goal. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about World War II. I'm sure that Allied forces had a backup plan. It's always to have a backup plan. I'm sure they had a backup plan if D-Day didn't work. But I'm confident they did not have a backup plan for winning the war. I don't think they thought, hey man, if we don't win the war, maybe we'll just learn to live with the Nazis. And I don't like Jews anyway, right? I don't think that was the case. I think they were married to the goal, but the tactics were flexible, and that's how you need to be, right? Marry your goals, but make the tactics flexible. All right, you know what I'm saying? And number 3, was there another one? If there was another one, I forgot it. But those are the 3 keys. Those are the 3 main keys. You know what I'm saying? Get a coach. Okay, no, 3 main. Be okay with failure. Get a coach. And be willing to change your tactics if you accomplish the goal. Marry the goal, not the tactics. I hope that helps, guys. I hope that helps. Failure does suck when you go through it, and I'm not trying to minimize that. But if you keep in mind that this is a learning experience and that you've gathered an invaluable information from it, it'll help you feel better about going forward. All right, I'm still failing. I fail all the time and shit. But every failure makes you better. All right. So hope that helps. Share this with your friends. Let me know if this is helpful. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to know how to start your own online fitness business, that's what worked for me. I kept failing until I tried that tactic. Click the link below. There's a free video series that you can watch on how to get started. All right, peace.